Good morning. Welcome to our worship service at First Unitarian Society of Ithaca, a community that reaches for connection even when distanced, digs deep for inspiration in uncertain times, and strives to engage with a complex and uncertain world as we work to shepherd our community through this time of physical distancing and craziness. This has been a crazy election, a crazy week, a crazy year. Thank you for joining us today to find some peace, hope, and centering here. My name is Jennifer Stridemullen, and I'm the Celebration Associate today. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to everyone, whether you are newcomers or longtime attendees, members of the Ithaca community, or watching from afar. Welcome if you're watching with us on Sunday morning, or if you're watching later in the week. We are delighted that you have chosen to worship with us. Our theme this month is healing, very timely, and will be reflected in the music and messages of this worship. Be sure to check your email, our Facebook page, and our website for more information about how to create connections. If you'd like to receive weekly updates describing opportunities for engagement, please email a request to office@uuithaca.org. This month, all month, as our Side with Love campaign, we are collecting food items for the Enfield Food Pantry. There's a bin on the front porch of the parish house for your donations, and we particularly want to provide items that would help celebrate Thanksgiving. Our service this morning has been pre-recorded, but we look forward to sharing the service broadcast on Sunday morning and seeing you at the live coffee hour that follows.
Our opening words this morning are by the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Freedom has a rhythm to it, a longing our bodies know without words, a movement away from everything small and scared, a waking up to possibility, healing backwards and forwards. Even now we are beginning again, unafraid of this much mercy, tenderness, pleasure. We come to lean in, to learn the sound of liberation, like the sound of our names, receiving and releasing. We come to be free for more than ourselves, to call love the greatest liberty, to sing of loyalty, courage, and kindness, to remember we are all doing the best we can. Despair hasn't gotten us yet, nor overwhelm, which is kind of a miracle, surrounded as we are with so much beauty. Come, let us worship together. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Here you belong.
With this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
morning, friends. I am so happy to be here with you today. We are continuing to explore together this month how our UU faith invites us to become a people of healing. When we feel sad or have been hurt, it can feel as though life is out to get us. It can seem as though life is small and scary. Our faith tells us that gratitude can help guide us back to believing that life is good and on our side. By shifting our attention from the sad and scary parts of life to the gifts of life, gratitude heals us. Let's grab our envelopes now marked 11/8 or November 8th. What's inside of it? Oh, it's really tiny this week, isn't it? Oh, what is this thing? Ooh. It's this little tiny thing. This is called a biodot. I want you to take your biodot and put it right between your palms and put your hands like this. Have you ever seen people hold their hands in this position? Or do you do this with your hands sometimes? What are people usually doing when they hold their hands together in this way? Right, they're praying. Sometimes when people pray, they ask God or life for things. That's an important way to pray. But did you know that we UUs often encourage people to think about praying in a different way? In addition to praying to get things, we invite people to pray by saying thank you for things we already have. In fact, one of the favorite quotes of UUs is a quote by a German minister who lived a really long time ago. And he has a very cool name. It's Meister Eckhart. And he said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. So simply saying thank you can be a prayer. Saying thank you is called expressing gratitude. And when we take the time to say thank you for the good things in our lives, it can help us feel better about the sad or bad things. Has saying thank you and noticing the good things in your life ever helped you feel better? Praying is just one of the many ways we can use gratitude to help heal us. Let's take a look at our biodots now if you've been holding them between your hands. Yeah, has anything happened with them? Mine has actually changed color. I don't know if you can see that. That's so fun. So these are the same material that you find in things like mood rings. Let's finish our time together by each saying out loud something that we are grateful for. What are you grateful for? I am grateful that I have this time to connect with all of you each week.
Each week, we create a space in our worship together as a communal spiritual practice. We lift up the names and circumstances that call for our joy and our celebration, and for our concern and our sorrow. If you're watching this service in its live format, I invite you to type your joy or sorrow in the chat box. Or if you wish, you can speak it aloud to those you're sitting with or just aloud into the universe. This morning, I lift up our entire country as we move through the aftermath of this election, move into continued efforts toward healing and liberation and love and compassion. Together, may we trust that these joys and sorrows, those which we have spoken, those which we have put out into the universe, and those which remain in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, may we know that they are held by the universe, and may we offer love and compassion so that they are held with care. At the beginning of our live coffee hour each week, we'll have a facilitator who will offer space for the sharing of these joys and sorrows. My prayer is that we all engage in the communal spiritual practice of listening deeply and offering our care and compassion to one another, particularly during this challenging time. Now, holding in our hearts the joys and the sorrows of our lives, let us join together in some continued moments of prayer and meditation. I offer these words, this story by my colleague, Reverend Lynn Gardner, who serves along with her spouse in Schenectady. In a galaxy far, far away, there is a beautiful planet circling a star. The planet has water and air and soil and sunlight and has been home to an incredible array of species of plants and animals for millions of years. There are mountains, valleys, rivers, oceans, glaciers, deserts, forests, and lakes. It is really quite something. On that beautiful planet, there are over 7.5 billion people who threaten the very balance of life on the planet. And the people have had quite a year. For centuries, there have been illnesses infecting the people. There have been colds and flus, bacterial infections and cancer. There have been outbreaks of greed and hatred, fear and violence. Whole countries contaminated with racism and oppression. This year, there was an illness that was new to the planet, an illness that has been changing everything. The losses are felt in people's bodies, in their hearts, in their spirits. And in one particular country on this planet, people have really struggled to respond. Many have died, too many. It's been heartbreaking and exhausting. The leaders are stirring up hatred and fear, using violence and lies as tools, no weapons of power. Those meant to serve and protect have brutally ended lives. The people are divided. There have been uprisings calling for equity, for justice. The year has also included unprecedented storms and fires, and now winter is coming. Those who are called to serve, to help people make meaning in their lives, those called to offer compassion and to help create justice, to witness where the divine and beauty break through. They are so very needed. And they are weary and sometimes afraid and are not sure that they're enough for all that is asked for them. And so an intrepid group is gathering, knowing that they need one another. They are bravely devoting some time for connection and for care, for renewal and rest and rejuvenation. They need to find and refill the well of kindness, love, and courage. May they find it. May we all, when we gather in love, find what we need. So may it be. Amen, and blessed be.
Last week, we learned the first part of the Light Chant by Elisa S. Keeler. Today, we're going to learn the second part and sing them together. Let's review last week's. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. One more time. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. And the second part is a little higher. So for the sopranos in our group or the tenors, or if you're just more comfortable with a higher part, here's how it goes. Light above, light within, moving through me. Light above, light within, moving through me. One more time. Light above, light within, moving through me. And now, let's try both parts together. The first part will start, and then the second part will come in. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me. Light surrounds me, light above me, light within me, shining through me.
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. The giving information should be on your screen in a moment. Giving to the plate is important as a symbol of our gratitude for the service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. The first time you give with the text link, it is long and clumsy, gathering a lot of information. Sorry about that. But hark, after that first time, it really is very quick to just enter the amount. So please, take a moment and give through either the text or the button on the website. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
Our reading this morning is actually a video created by a friend of mine who lives in Australia. She's created this amazing piece of illustration and animation of the poem, What to Do in the Belly of a Whale by Dan Albergotti. The poem is referencing the story from the Hebrew Bible where Jonah finds himself in the belly of a whale. The story goes that Jonah was chosen by God to be a prophet, a teacher, But he didn't want to be chosen, so he went on a sea voyage instead. And God isn't very happy about this. So God sends a storm that makes the seas violently wavy and dangerous. And when the others on the boat with Jonah realize that the storm is happening because of him, they throw him overboard and he's gobbled up by a whale. And there he is in the belly of the whale for longer than he expected. Measure the walls, count the ribs, notch the long days. Look up for blue sky through the spout. Make small fires with the broken hulls of fishing boats. Practice smoke signals. Call old friends and listen for echoes of distant voices. Organize your calendar. Dream of the beach. Look each way for the dim glow of light. Work on your reports. Review each of your life's 10 million choices. Endure moments of self-loathing. Find the evidence of those before you. Destroy it. Try to be very quiet and listen for the sound of gears and moving water. Listen for the sound of your heart. Be thankful that you are here, swallowed with all hope, where you can rest and wait. Be nostalgic. Think of all the things you did and could have done. Remember treading water in the center of the still night sea, your toes pointing again and again down into the black depths. This is what to do in the belly of a whale. We, like Jonah, are in the belly of a whale, waiting, wondering, passing the time until we have more certainty of what the future will bring. We find ourselves in a limbo of sorts, sure of where we have been, but not quite sure yet where we're going. The national election passed, and still here we are, in this moment. And we are here with certainty that there is more work to do, that there will always be more work to do. So often the change we want to happen immediately has to wait a bit longer, and we are left to be patient in the midst of our swirling anxiety and worry. A good friend once said to me that worrying is like rocking back and forth in a rocking chair. You can do it all day, and it will get you nowhere. So what do we do with our worry? What do we do with the worry, the fear, the anxiety about what comes next? If our task as people of intention and goodwill, as Unitarian Universalists, is to strive toward a world where all know justice and equity and compassion, how do we do so in every moment? How do we do this work in our everyday lives of living our values? Even amidst a country that has been divided and fragmented by strong powers, we can recommit ourselves to the promise of a more unified and just future. One of my favorite authors is Rachel Naomi Remen. She writes about being human and spirituality and lessons that she's learned from her patients and her family. She's a physician, and she was raised in the Jewish faith, and she reflects a lot about how her upbringing has shaped her worldview. Here's a piece from an interview between her and Krista Tippett on the radio show On Being. Rachel says this: "In the beginning, there was only the holy darkness, the Ein Sof, the source of life. And then, in the course of history, at a moment in time, this world, the world of 1,000,000 things, emerged from the heart of the holy darkness as a great ray of light. And then, perhaps because this is a Jewish story, there was an accident. And the vessels containing the light of the world, the wholeness of the world, broke. And the wholeness of the world, the light of the world, was scattered into 1,000,000 fragments of light, and they fell into all events and all people, where they remain deeply hidden until this very day." She goes on. "Now, according to my grandfather, the whole human race is a response to this accident. We are here because we are born with the capacity to find the hidden light in all events and all people, to lift it up and make it visible once again, and thereby to restore the innate wholeness of the world. It's a very important story for our times, and this task is called Tikkun Olam in Hebrew. It's the restoration of the world. And this is, of course, a collective task," she says. "It involves all people who have ever been, all people presently alive, all people yet to be born. We are all healers of the world, and that story opens a sense of possibility It's not about healing the world by making a huge difference. It's about healing the world that touches you, that's around you. I love this concept of tikkun olam. I love this story about it. I have this image of the lightness and the wholeness of the world falling into 1,000 pieces like glitter, finding its way into little nooks and crannies, finding its way into you and me, the guy up the street, into that moment of birth of my nieces and nephews, the moment you woke up this morning, and every beautiful and awful thing that has ever happened in the history of the world. Glimmers of light. Fragments of light that are hidden, and we need to find them and piece them back together. Just the pieces around us, the pieces that touch us, each doing our part in the restoration of the world. This is our capacity as human beings to aid in the healing of the world. This is like the concept of beloved community that Reverend Dr. King preached about, the building of heaven on earth that we are called to participate in, each doing our part, healing the brokenness around us, restoring us to unity, finding light where we don't think it exists. The beloved community that requires the work of all of us to be whole again. All of us are necessary. In the words of my colleague, the Reverend Teresa Soto, it takes all of us for all of us to make it. This is how we do what we do. This is how we make it through the uncertainty, through self-care and self-love and reaching out and reaching within, through taking inventory of what we have done for good and what we have done that has harmed, through running and napping and writing cards, through drinking tea and knitting mittens and calling friends and putting up our holiday lights early because why not? And bringing food to those who need it and breathing in and breathing out and searching for those glimmers of light and the sparks of goodness and stopping to rest, to read, to notice the way the sunlight breaks through the bare tree branches swaying in the wind. Perhaps this is what we are called to in this moment. Taking a moment of pause, paying close attention, counting the ways we are buoyed by love and by friendship, searching for the fragments of good in all things and all people, piecing together what we can. Perhaps this is how we prepare for what will call us next, to participate in the healing and the restoration of the world, beginning with ourselves, just as those before us and those after us are called to as well. Tikkun olam, beloved community, bending the arc of the universe toward justice. None of us knows what will come next. We can hope, we can make conjectures, we can pray, we can meditate, and still we may have to wait in the belly of the whale until the storm passes and we find our way through. But amidst the uncertainty, one thing is certain: the world needs you and your light. The healing and the restoration of the world, of our communities, our country, needs all of us in order to be unified and complete. You are more powerful than you know. In the work of meeting hate with love and oppression with collective liberation. Collective liberation, not charity or pity or doing for others, but collective liberation. The belief that my salvation is tied up in yours and yours in mine. collective liberation, the affirmation that we are interconnected and intertwined and all fragments of the same holy good, that same beam of light, 1,000 pieces that needs healing and cooperation in order to be unified again. Collective liberation, yours and mine, and the liberation of generations to come. This is our task of healing, of unity, of patience, of restoration of our promises to each other and to this world. Listen for the gears of justice that are moving. Listen for the hearts beating for love and compassion to prevail. Look for the light, that glimmer, that spark within you, within others, within this very moment. Reach for it. Join it together again and again. Together, may we heal. Together, may we practice patience and kindness. Together, may we get up, stretch open ourselves to possibility, and get to healing the world. Get to the work of restoration. So may it be. Amen, and blessed be. We are a people called to live into beloved community, to participate in the healing and restoration of the world, and to work toward collective liberation. Even amidst the worry and the waiting, we can care well for ourselves and each other as we prepare ourselves for whatever comes next. Let us do so with hope and love in our hearts, and with a promise to one another that your liberation is tied up in mine and mine in yours. We need one another. We belong to each other. We extinguish this chalice, but not the hope, love, and courage that it represents. We carry our tender and indestructible hearts out into this beautiful and broken world. Our service is now ended. Let our true service now begin. Go in peace.